Hello, good evening, everyone. Nice to see you. You are on to GTV Africa, right from our studio. And you know, this is Inside Presidency. Inside Presidency is a program that comes to your way every week, and we bring down everything that happens in the presidency to your view. In the presidency this week, the previous week, a lot happens. Speaker Gbajabiamila visits President Buhari. Also, APC youths gather themselves and they pay a visit to President Muhammadu Buhari. In the same week, FEC meeting came up in the week, and a lot of decisions were taken. In the FEC meeting, a lot of projects were given approvals. You are going to hear that. Don't be in a hurry. And apart from that, AU meeting also came up, and the Nigerian president also joined. Join me. But don't forget, this is GTV Africa. We love that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, GTV Africa. When you subscribe, it makes us to be happy, and we continue because we believe that you are there and you'll be seeing the story. Join me as we view exactly what happens in the presidency in the previous week.
Oh, no. It's nothing major. I haven't seen Mr. President this year, other than the official Army Day remembrance, which was a couple of weeks ago. And I just thought I'll seize this opportunity to see him, discuss one or two matters with him that border on, on the state of the nation. And we had a good interesting, fruitful discussion. It was just a question of I hadn't seen him this year. Yeah.
Talking about the state of the nation, what's your take on the appointment of the new service chiefs?
The new service chief has been, are you talking about the new service chiefs? That's what everybody's been clamoring for. House, Senate, public, and the president took his time, and he studied the situation very well, and he did it at the right time that he thought he should do it. So we're all in support of what he has done.
What kind of support do you hope to see from the National Assembly to facilitate their work?
Everything that is needed. We are all in this situation together. The National Assembly will not in any way make or put hurdles before the service chiefs. We will make the working environment suitable for them to be able to discharge their responsibility and discharge it very efficiently.
So what do you have to say regarding the unhealthy relationship between the herders and the natives in the southwest and southeast?
Well, everybody must just come to the table and discuss and come to an amicable resolution, which I'm sure we will. I don't think any ethnic group should lord it over any ethnic group. The southwest should not lord it over the north. The northwest should not lord it over the south. We should respect each other's trade, geographical space, history, culture, and more importantly, the issue of crime, murder, all those things should be completely jettisoned. But the important thing is that we all need to sit down on the table and discuss this matter and look for a way forward. And I think everybody is ready to do that.
What do you have to see from the National Assembly in solving this problem?
What? Say that again?
From the National Assembly.
Yes.
What do you hope to see?
What role
in finding solution to this kind of situation?
Well, the solutions will come from talking, and I believe now that we're about to start work on Tuesday, I know these issues will come up, and legislation, adequate and proper legislation that will address the issue frontally and in the best interest of the country and all nations that make up the nation. Such legislation will come up and will be put in place.
Revalidation and registration of APC members have started nationwide. What's your call to your party members?
Oh, we've all been mobilizing. Everybody should come out and register. Registration is the beginning of an election process. An election is a process. It's not a one-day event. It has started already. And so I will encourage all party members to come in and register. I will encourage those who are not even party members, who have not been registered before, those who have attained the age of 18, those who have seen some of the good works of Mr. President and this party, to come in and join the fold and register, so that come 2023, politics is all about numbers. They can pick whoever they want to elect to represent them as a party flag bearer. Don't forget that registration is for two purposes. It has a dual purpose. One is for primaries, and the second is even for the general election. You have to take ownership of the party, and that's what we're asking people to do. Come and take ownership of this party.
But some may ask, why the APC?
Show me an alternative. If you can show me an alternative with cogent reasons why, then we can begin to talk. But right now there is no alternative. APC has done a lot, and I want us to be very objective. The party has done so much, but unfortunately, in life, that's just the way it is. If you do 100 good things, and one thing just is not quite right yet, particularly something maybe you met on ground, is not quite right yet, it has a tendency of muddling the waters and discrediting the 100 good things that you've done. And that's the situation we find ourselves. Well, we'll continue to encourage the public. We'll continue to educate the public on the things that APC has done. Now, APC never enjoyed really propagating itself. We thought our work would speak for us. But for me, I've since learned that you need to propagate yourself. Because a lot of the things, when I sit down with people, the biggest critics of government, and there will always be critics in any government, when I sit down with them and say, but you know what, the party did this, the party did this, the party did this, they're all in shock. They're all in shock. So I think it's time we begin to market some of the achievements of the party and not let the one or two little, they may be fundamental, I quite agree, but not let those things overshadow the good things that we've done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
On such a short notice, and I want to make a confession that I have never requested for a meeting with you, Mr. President, and I have never been denied for a meeting as long as it is issues that pertain to young people. So please, a round of applause for Mr. President. And I want to also acknowledge the love and care you have demonstrated to the generality of young people in this country. You have created, approved, established so many empowerment programs, starting from the Empower that started with a simple conversation, Mr. President. Way back in 2015, I remember we were in a bus and you had a whispered conversation with the Vice President then about what you can do for the teeming population of young people that always throng at you or at your rallies, and then gave birth to ideas of social investment that today now is the most humongous and successful project in sub-Saharan Africa. You've created a youth investment fund under our Honorable Minister, someone we're very proud of, Sunday Dare. The youth investment fund that you have told them to create and make available 75 billion within the course of 3 years, so that young people would be able to catch on into it and bring something out of themselves. Through the CBN, the Anko Borrowers program, and so many COVID-19 reliefs that help shore up the so many businesses that have suffered in the course of the pandemic era. About 190 billion naira has been disbursed so far to about 500,000 individuals and households. It is the biggest direct payout to citizens in the pandemic era in sub-Saharan Africa. Again, Mr. President, thank you very much. However, like Oliver Twist, Mr. President will always ask for more. We'll ask for more because we are 60% of a 200 million strong population. In 200 million people, Mr. President, if we are 60%, we are roughly about 120 to 140 million people. If that is the case, the youth population of this country alone is more than the combined population of the rest of sub-Saharan countries, and including some parts of Southern Africa, including South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, and Lesotho, and the rest combined are not up to the population of the Nigerian young people. And therefore, Mr. President, we have a few recommendations and a few requests as party members. The legacy, your legacy, Mr. President, is more important to us as young people than it is to anybody who is older. Because it is your legacy that we are going to be wallowing in for the next 20 to 30 to 40 years, God willing. And it is a legacy that we are proud of, and we are going to ensure that it is sustained. So, Mr. President, a few recommendations. We would like to see there's so many programs of young people that have been scattered everywhere that we would love as part of legacy. We want to applaud you, Mr. President, for creating the Disability Commission, the Diaspora Commission. It would be good if the youth have their own commission under the Ministry of Youth, headed by a young person, and all the issues brought in one place so that we'll be able to focus and fine-tune it going forward. It will be a legacy that will outlive your administration, and something that we'll always be proud of. Just like people always remember with nostalgia how you have done the war against indiscipline during your military junta. It will be something that we'll be proud of years to come from now. Mr. President, we would also want you to consider that young people being the most energetic zeal of this country, that for every committee to be set up either by government or a political party anywhere, that whatever the requisite qualification required, that there's a slot, 1 or 2, that is left for young people to fill in. Because you know very well, Mr. President, you've said it to me before, sometime back in 2008, 2009, that you don't teach a man how to drive by putting him in the back seat. You teach a man how to drive by putting him in the passenger seat. Because God will, God forbid, if something happens to you and he needs to take you to hospital and he doesn't know how to drive very well, then both of you are in trouble. So the young people have come of age. Let's put them on the passenger seat so that they learn the mechanics of the motor vehicle so that they will be able to deliver. That is what we are here for, Mr. President. Thank you very much for giving us a listening ear. Finally, Mr. President, back to politics. The APC is re-registering. You have gone and you have registered as well. This is our time, this is our opportunity, Mr. President. You stand taller than most of your peers and your colleagues in terms of integrity, and looking back to see who you are leaving behind to be able to pull him back up. Mr. President, be our major supporter and our pillar of support. Be the bridge that will help the young people to participate in every level of politics, be it in governance and politics and political party. So that sooner than later, Mr. President, we learn the mechanics of leadership and we'll be able to pull ourselves by our bootstraps. And then you, Mr. President, will have the singular legacy of
leaders and members of Youth Wing. I am delighted to be part of this meeting today, not only on your commitment to strengthen our party and its progressive ideologies, but more importantly, your role in the social sphere, body policy, politics, and governance of our dear country. Having started my participation in the governance of this country at a young age myself, I know the energy, versatility, and vibrancy that youth can bring into public service. This is why I take every issue related to young people very seriously and try as much as possible to engage them by having constant conversation to gain from their useful and inspiring insights into issues of today. I have followed with keen interest the efforts of many of you in your bid to grow our party, the All Progressive Congress, into a strong and long-lasting platform that will sustain progressive governance in Nigeria. Taking issues concerning our party seriously is commendable and shows your forward-looking aspects. I am also aware of the daily toils and sacrifices many of our outlying warriors make on social media to defend and promote the party and government. I appreciate you deeply, and I am committed to making sure everyone appreciates your work as well. As young people, I am sure you know your future is closely tied to the progress that leaders who emerge through the political parties are able to deliver. This is the major reason I vehemently supported and advocated for the APC's membership, registration, and the revalidation, and that whoever among you seek to participate honestly in uplifting this country through the instrumentalities of party politics is able to do so. I was in Daura to rehabilitate my membership, and I encourage you all to do the same. My belief and firm commitment is that politics is a game of numbers, and political power truly belongs to the people. Parties are built from the ground up. So I envisage a party that we can have transparent electoral contests, drive policies and programs that are for people, and most importantly, have the members determine who represent them, not some leaders somewhere. Tell your colleagues to go back to their constituencies and join in party registration, attend party meetings, pay your dues, make contributions, and bring your youthful energy and zeal to bear on the development of the party, right from the unit and ward level up to national. If you wanted to see something different, you have to be willing to do something different. Let me also acknowledge the suffering and the disruptions caused by coronavirus. The pandemic has slowed down economic growth across the world, not just in Nigeria, thus proving that no one country or economy is immune to the shocks of life. In fact, Nigeria is lucky not to have been too badly hit by the pandemic because we took early precautions, coupled with our good fortune at having a predominantly young population, a demographic advantage I believe we need to harness more deliberately. The young people of this country, the responsibility to deploy their energy and creativity in every field: health, science, education, sports, agriculture, etc., and bring up innovations that would be in tandem with the changing dynamics of the world. While I will be looking forward to a more robust engagement with young people across the country, I wish to emphasize to you with all that in me you have a major supporter. I will offer you my full support to grow in politics, public service, entertainment, entrepreneurship, and many other sectors, because I know that the future we envisage as a country cannot happen without our youth. In the days ahead, I will be engaging with the Minister of Youth, the national youth leader of the party, and others to fine-tune continuous and deliberate strategy on how to better drive a more robust youth inclusion and participation in different sectors. Lastly, I have listened to the grievances of the youth and taken some remedial actions last year. But I acknowledge the need to do a lot more. Consequently, I will be setting up a small committee made up largely of young people to engage with their peers, air their views, and come up with better ways to identify and address challenges and find durable solutions. It is my hope that by combining the wisdom and experience of the older generation with the foresight and energy of the young, we shall collectively drive this country to greater heights. Long live the All Progressive Congress. I thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
So on behalf of the Honorable Ministers of Transportation and Aviation who had to leave for some other pressing issues, I would just give a very brief summary of the memos they presented and which were approved. The Honorable Minister of Transportation sought Council's approval for the award of contract for the procurement of 2 hydrographic survey boats for the National Inland Waterways Authority in favor of Messrs. Frost Index Project and Services Limited in the sum of 783,521,275 naira, inclusive of 7.5% VAT, with a completion period of 6 months. And the Honorable Minister of Aviation sought for Council's approval for and was granted for a contract for the design, supply and installation of a PTZ long-range thermal camera surveillance system at Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, and Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and also for a mobile surveillance system with remote control licensed for SOVA installed in the back of Mercedes-Benz Sprinter Van 524 in favor of Mrs. Globesley Pro Project, which is the exclusive Nigerian African representative of the original equipment manufacturers, Mrs. Datcom System Integrated Polza of Slovenia. The total sum of the contract is 1,278,594,250 naira, and this is in order to upgrade and provide security and safety for the Nigerian Airports Authority, especially to avoid incidents on the air side and runway.
Contract for building power stations on behalf of the Nigeria Export Processing Zones Authority in processing zones in Calabar and Kano. The authority received proposals from various companies, and after all the evaluations were done, they awarded the contract to Mutual Commitment Company Limited in the sum of 35,411,119,169 naira and 47 kobo, and the terms are that the contractor will finance 75%, that is in the sum of 26,558,339,337 naira and 10 kobo, while the Export Processing Zones Authority would spend 25%, would pay 25%, which translates to 8,852,779,792 naira and 37 kobo. For the 75% of the contractor's portion, the council approved a payback period of 10 years. The plant will be, on completion after 11 months, the plant will be operated by the contractor for 5 years. And during that 5 years, they will build local capacity such that after 5 years, the local capacity that has been built up will take over the running of the plant. And the whole intention of the upgrade of the two zones is to create zones with world-class standard. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is desirous of making Nigeria a manufacturing hub, especially now that we have signed on to the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. So by putting in 24-hour power in the two processing zones, it will make it more attractive to foreign investors to come and set up their manufacturing concerns here in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
So, Council's approval for the Aluminium Smelting Company of Nigeria, that is in Ikot-Abasi. The BP has concessioned that company, and the company sought to be categorized as a power producer and as a strategic company, which Council approved, so that we can start the production of aluminium in Nigeria. Basically, that's what we did. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it's my greatest honor to be with you this evening to brief you on the decision of Mr. President over the appointment of the Inspector General of Police. Mr. President has decided that the present IGP, Mohammed Adamu, will continue to serve as the IG for the next 3 months to allow for a robust and efficient process of appointing a new IG. I think this is not unconnected with the desire of Mr. President to not only have a smooth handover, but to also ensure that right officer is being appointed into that position. Mr. President is extending it by 3 months to allow him get into a process of appointing a new one. What are you asking?
Why did he not come before the expiry of his tenure? Because there is a lacuna.
There is no lacuna. There is no lacuna. Mr. President can decide to extend his tenure, and this is what he has done, but for 3 months.
What can you tell Nigerians who have heard that new IGP has been appointed in name of President?
No, it's one of those social media stories that one cannot control. And I think from what I've told you now, you can classify that information appropriately. Thank you.
Well, let me start from the tail and come up. I've made it clear that the issue of the Accountant General of the Federation is a constitutional issue. The appointment is predicated on Section 171 of the Constitution, 1999, as amended. That section is an omnibus section that grants the President powers to appoint those he feels he can work with. And those offices were so listed. Offices in the public service of the Federation, heads of extra ministerial departments or agencies, by no matter by whatever name so called,